When I was 13 years old, I started playing guitar. I slowly learned basic chord shapes, learned many of middle school me's favorite songs, and eventually I began attempting to write my own songs. I was in middle school during the COVID-19 pandemic, so I pretty much had all the time in the world to work at what would become one of my biggest hobbies. 13-year-old me was also trying to find their identity, not only as an artist, but also as a person, sort of trying to grasp my identity as someone who's mixed, someone who's queer, and just finding outlets to express myself. And music became that outlet. And I've always made art. I've been drawing since forever. I've talked about it in plenty of videos, I'm sure. And I've always sort of looked around me for inspiration, whether it be from my family, to the cartoons I grew up watching, to the places I found myself in, like home and school, and just anywhere really, I guess. And all of that really influenced my work, and it still does, because I think that's part of being human. And music has always been a way for me to be vulnerable, because, I don't know, I just find it easy to sort of express those pent-up emotions in a way that serves as an outlet for me, but also serves as a way to connect with others. And so I thought it would be important for me to find artists who had identities that were sort of similar to mine. This is around the time that 88 Rising came into my life. 88 Rising is this record label that, more so back in the day, they were focused on amplifying Asian artists and things like that, but they've kind of fallen off now, unfortunately, but I'm going off script. I started listening to Joji at the start of 2020, which introduced me to artists like Rich Brian and Nicki, and whoever else was on the roster at the time, but Joji, Rich Brian, and Nicki, they were the big three of the label. And as I said before, 88 Rising, before and during COVID, there was nobody really like them, and they kind of opened my eyes to this other world where Asians and Asian Americans could excel in an art form that I adored. And soon enough, I was sucked in. And in May 2020, the label had this sort of virtual music festival. It was like a YouTube live stream. And they had a lineup of several Asian musicians to sort of celebrate AAPI month, I want to say. Yeah, because that happens in May. And one of those artists happened to be beabadoobee. And that's who I'm talking about today in this video. So I don't think beabadoobee really needs much explaining. I know she's been sort of consumed by the Labubu Dubai chocolate feminist literature crowd right now. But 4 or 5 years ago, she was my world. When I saw her play her two songs on this YouTube live stream, oh my god, oh my god. Not only did she put me on Elliott Smith because she covered Between the Bars, but she also became this sort of musical hero to me. And through that, I started listening to her music because I thought she was cool. And seeing a Filipino person like me, I'm Filipino, fun fact, make music that I was sort of actively seeking out made me want to put my all into my own work so I could maybe be as cool as her. And hell, she's the reason I use open tunings in my music, even now. Later that year, she released her album titled Fake It Flowers, and when I tell you this album changed me, oh my god, I mean it. From its emotionally heavy lyrics to its catchy melodies and guitar riffs and chord progressions that threw middle school me in for a loop, I was in love. I also adored her EPs, especially Space Cadet and Loveworm. Those ones are also great. I still love these 3 projects, just thought I'd add. But yeah, they're great. Highly recommend. And I began learning her music on the guitar, and as I was also writing my own music, I could slowly feel her influence on my projects, and I think that influence lingers in my work, now, 4 years later. I know I'm talking about this several years after it's happened, but even then, even in 8th grade, I realized her impact on me pretty quickly. And I remember 8th grade me writing this like mini essay about beabadoobee and the importance of representation in media in my 8th grade Discord server, which COVID was a time and everybody was chronically online because, like, how else are we supposed to talk to each other when we're all locked in our homes and stuff? And yeah, I became a person that I have very mixed thoughts on. But it was middle school, so I'll give myself a pass for it. And even though I sort of look back at that time with a little bit of disgust, if you can't tell, I think about that passion that I had back then, and I think that's why freshman in college me is sort of building on top of that mini essay that I read all those years ago. And it's really crazy how time flies when there's like so much to do, because 2020 to 2025, so much has happened, and yeah, I think I've changed quite a bit since I was in 8th grade, or at least I hope I have, because, you know, moving on. I'm just glad that I've been able to hang on to my passions for this long. Like, in middle school, music was just like a little hobby, you know? Like a little thing to pass the time, new skill to learn. And then now it's like my everything. In my free time, I'm always playing guitar, writing lyrics, blah, blah, blah. And I still find it important to find people like you in the media you consume, and I hope that I can do that with my own work someday. That's all I really had to say on this topic. Thank you for watching. This was going to be a part of my series on my main YouTube channel about artists that have defined my teenhood, but I don't really feel like posting it there because I don't feel like editing as much as I edit my videos typically, so this is going on my side account. And yeah, I don't know, I've just been thinking about my journey so far as an artist, just in general, not only with music, but like with drawing and graphic design and all that. But yeah, I've been thinking about this for a few days, and I thought it would be fun to film a video about it. So I hope you English. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope to see you around. Stream my music. I'm working on a new album. Hopefully it'll be out within the next 4 months. But yeah, bye-bye.